Oi. 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 Got a license for that? Oi. Oi. Have you got a license for that? I've been out riding. Been golly wobbling on me gibby gobbles. Oi. Oi. How's it going with ya? I've been out riding. You've been wondering. Why, where's the bloke been? He's been out riding. He's been out riding. He's got a license. No, he does not. He's been out a-writing. He's lost his marbles, has he not? Yes, he has. He's been out a-writing. I just saw me Mary Poppins. She rides in on the wind because she's a theosophic spirit from the underworld. She rides in on the wind like a toot from the fairies. She rides in on the wind. This is all made up on the spot. It makes no sense. It's a Nick Cage dream and we're singing in British things. I saw this hat, so I had to put it on. So no, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Welcome to the Jason Also stream. We haven't been here in a while because I've been traveling, and the Tennessee does not believe in the internets. And this is straight vodka. We're getting into the leaving Las Vegas mindset. We're doing a meta version of method acting where I'm going to be drunk Nick Cage and Mandy Chu. So, but I promise to try to keep the Nick Cage impersonations to a minimum today. Oi! Have you got a license for that license? Oi! Have you got a license for that very tall? Whoa, you see it lightning? The gods have smiled on Cage Stream 2019. They did, dude. It was a sign. Woo, that thunder, baby. It's shaking the whole building, baby. Anyway. License to shill for Nicolas Cage. And yes, somebody said in the chat, is his name a sign for esotericism? Is his name a symbol of Gnostic? He's trapped in the body of Cage. We'll see. But yeah, so I've been out of town, and I wasn't in Tennessee. Doesn't believe in the internets, which is probably a good thing. So if you live out in the country, you don't get the internets. I don't believe in the internet, yep. Anyway, I'm taking this stupid thing off. Bringing the 1800s back. Got some hideous hair to celebrate 30,000 Chad nerds. That's why we're celebrating today. 30,000 Chad nerds celebrate the Cage stream. You see these hideous 1800. Make the 1800s great again. I'm going for make 1800s great again. In celebration of Cage stream. Esoteric Cage. And we're also celebrating, I'm not lit, I don't drink, dog. We're also celebrating Esoteric Hollywood Deuce. It is now out, now available. I might give y'all a little bit of talk on the new book. But yeah, baby, shaking and baking. So yeah, so thank you for the congrats. Thank you all for subscribing. So glad to have all y'all here. 150 nerds just popped in out of nowhere. Welcome, nerds. What was I going to tell y'all? Something about Esoteric Hollywood. No, I forgot. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the 5 I picked, 6 I picked. I know it doesn't make sense, and we left out Peggy Sue Got Married. I know, and I don't even have time I don't think to squeeze in Face Off, but that's okay because by the time I get through the Nick Cage movies, there's going to be 50 theology questions. Anyway, because whenever I do a movie stream, it's always theology questions. And if I do a theology stream, everybody's still talking about movies. So that's just the way it go, dog. Thank you all for joining me, though. Thank you for being here. And it's a celebratory time. I'm up here at the condo, dog. Not my condo. I'm not going to say family condo.
So somewhere in the regions of Nashville. That's all I'm going to say. Good to see that the books are shipping. I meant to tell this. There's back order. So some of the books are now on back order, and I will be getting them Monday, and I'll be shipping them out Monday. So I know it's Thursday. Don't know what the deal is with Amazon, but don't get your books from Amazon anyway. Get them from me, dog. Get your books from me, dog. Why would you give your money to Jeff Bezos Blofeldius III? Now, remember, we already had one celebratory Nick stream with the Boiler Room crew. That was a lot of fun. We tried to save America with the help of John Cusack and mainly Nick Cage. He is our national treasure. Somebody said, why are you obsessed with Nick Cage? Well, that's like asking, why is Nick Cage obsessed with Elvis? Ooh, touche. Why are you not obsessed with Nick Cage is a better way to phrase the question. But we did have a lot of fun there on the Save America election Con Air stream. Get it? Con Air stream, like a Con Air Airstream for your pompadour. As you see, I have a pompadour going today. Make 1800s great again. And so, if you want to hear the esoteric analysis of America and America's Masonic Rosicrucian heritage, which is undeniable, very obvious, duh, hello, you can go listen to Cage Stream, where we get into Save America Cage Stream, where we get into the James Billington book, Fire in the Minds of Men, and we get into the Masonic esoteric history of America, which, again, how is this not obvious, right? So hopefully the stream will do okay. We got some red signals here signifying that the stream is a little weak. It is storming all of a sudden. As you saw, the gods have smiled on the Nick Cage stream with the thunderbolts from Zeus. Zeus said, do a Nick Cage stream now. Do it now. Zeus. I'm Zeus. I'm Zeus. People are watching me and laughing. They think I've lost it. That was Nick Cage playing Zeus. You sprung from my head like Athena. I've gone mad. I've gone mad. Anyway, Nick losing it. All right, thank you, and also super chats are always welcome. I know it's like what you guys have been waiting for 3 weeks for a stream, and you're like, and I'm like, where are them super chats at, dog? So we got Zyklon B. Peterson. Not the bees. Yeah, we will be talking about. Actually, I kind of chose the bad Nick that are the fun Nick, right? These are Wicker Man. That is a blast, dude. Who doesn't like Nicolas Cage Wicker Man? That's so much fun. And I remember seeing it in the theater, and I thought that was fun. And I had not yet at that time seen the original, which I have seen now, which is a lot of fun as well. A little more heavily esoteric with Christopher Lee playing the pagan. Why? We eat our own. We kill our own. We eat our own. He doesn't say we eat our own. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, so you can go check out Cage Dream, of course, for the original. Let's get into our first specimen, our first esoteric specimen here. And again, little reminder, Esoteric Hollywood 2 is now available. Ships out Monday. I've already sold out of my original batch. Thank God. Selling like hot cake. Selling like hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Let's see if I can sing it like Nick. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. See how they roll. See how they roll. Hot cross buns. This is fun. So glad to be back here with you guys and with our BFF Nick. And so, anyways. Yeah, we did have actually a little bit of drama here. I thought we had a little bit of YouTube problems. But thank the Lord and also the AI God that man has created. The AI gods have determined that my YouTube channel is all good. So everything is good as of now. But I got to thinking, you know, everybody could just lose live streaming at any time. So maybe I should start doing a daily live stream. You know what I mean? What do you think? Face Off is on the list. The problem is that it's at the end, and I was rushing to get all the Nick Cage movies squeezed in on time. But yeah, I think here's what's going to happen. Since Peggy Sue isn't on the list, and we need to do adaptation when we need to do Vampire's Kiss, and we need to do Lord of War, which actually could require its own entire stream because it's based on Victor Bout, who was a CIA asset arms dealer. So I think we'll have a separate stream of another series of Nick Cage. Oh, and Wild at Heart is not on this stream because it will be specifically allocated to a David Lynch stream. David Lynch will get his own stream. Way to go, Coop. So, yeah. The Knowing. And I remember going to see The Knowing, and I was like, okay, aliens and conspiracies. What else? And I remember it's Alex Proyas, and he did Dark City, so he does these Gnostic movies. He did The Crow, Dark City, I, Robot, Knowing, Gods of Egypt. So he is self-consciously Gnostic, and if you read my old, which it's shitty, but it's old, from like 10 years ago analysis of Dark City, I talked about Alex Proyas saying he's a Gnostic filmmaker. So we know this is Hollywood esoterica, don't we? Of course it is. There's no question about it. Proven beyond any shadow of a doubt. And it's about numerology. It's about the Kabbalah. And the immediate logo that we see of, I guess it's Proyas' company, or I'm not sure, Escape Artists, we see an all-seeing eye. So what does that tell you, right? So right away we get Luciferian Gnosis. And Nick Cage loves these esoteric roles. And that was actually one of the things that a long time ago kind of sparked the idea to do Esoteric Hollywood, was the fact that I started noticing certain actors and actresses prefer, or seem to prefer, or really want, or given, or choose, whatever, very esoteric roles. And particularly here, obviously, The Knowing is extremely esoteric. So I started noticing, well, he's also Ghost Rider, and he's also in all these other esoteric films. So there's something to this. Now, let's see my notes here. So we know it's going to be about Kabbalah, and we go back in time, and we see these kids, and they're putting stuff into a time capsule in 1959, and then it gets opened later again. And then there's a reference to, my notes say, Nostra Autist. I don't remember why I wrote Nostra Autist, but it sounds funny. But I meant Nostradamus because Nostradamus comes up for something to do with prediction. So, end of the world, Hollywood end of the world, gobbledygook, right? And again, Nick Cage likes end of the world stuff, doesn't he? He was in the horrid Rapture Heresy movie. The what's that stupid ass thing called? The Tim LaHaye books, you know, Left Behind. Nick Cage was in Left Behind. And yes, Ghost Rider sucked. That's why we're doing this is maybe the esoteric goofy Cage stream here. But there is an interesting element to the knowing with this whole Kabbalah code. This kind of like everything is numerically encoded. Everything is like the matrix, the fabric, the substructure of reality is geometric forms and numbers and symbols and algorithms, which is interesting because Gnostics, for all of their absurdity, will admit, on the other hand, that everything seems to have a special designed code behind it. But now, wait a minute, we don't believe in creation. Oh, but wait, they believe in an evil demiurge creating this prison world. Right? So they actually do believe in creation, but it's a prison world, right? And you can go see my whole video on Gnosticism, refuted from St. Irenaeus against heresies. But here, the time capsule points to, I think one of the kids was getting messages right about, it's the end of the world. Here's my super secret code. Hope you have the Nick Cage decoder ring to figure out the end of the world and what date it is. And surprise, surprise, it's aliens. It's aliens behind the end times, and they're going to microwave the earth. And the aliens just happen to want to rapture all the kids. Pedo aliens? What? Are they pedo aliens? Well, they seem to want everybody's kids really bad, which is kind of weird and gross. They only want to rapture kids. And again, if you follow Jay's analysis over the years, you know that we've talked about in many film narratives, the aliens represent the elite, the oligarchs, right? They're presented as that in They Live, right? They're presented as aliens in Cowboys and Aliens. The elite are the aliens. They come to the planet and harvest all the gold. Come on, hello. Didn't we see the Queen's giant gold stash? Remember I showed you that in the James Bond stream? Go watch the James Bond stream if you haven't seen it. Google did not favor my algorithm there, and I only got like 5,000 views on that. That was a good stream, dog. Now, so these are... It's funny because the archons seem good at times in Gnostic nonsense, and the archons are imprisoning demons at times. And, we can control them and invoke them through ritual magic, and, we can fight them, and it's a bunch of nonsense, right? The Gnostic mythos is complete jibber-jabber confusion. Makes absolutely no sense. But that's what's going on here, and so we have basically an appropriation of the Christian heresy of the pre-tribulation end of the world rapture. John Hagee, the aliens are going to rapture us. Folks, I'm John Hagee. Jesus is not the Messiah. In my new book, In Defense of Israel, Jesus is not the Messiah. I'm John Hagee. Look at how large my belly is. The blood moon pies of Israel. Right, so, is John Hagee... This is like John Hagee mixed with a bad alien movie. Now, actually, I don't think The Knowing is that bad of a movie. It's dumb, but it's not terrible. It's not that bad of a movie. So anyway, the family drama is basically irrelevant. It's not worth even talking about. But we all know what happens, I think, if you've seen it, right? By the way, the kid is a vegan or a vegetarian. It's interesting programming there. He's like bossing Nick Cage around, his dad. He's like, I don't eat meat, Dad. I just eat veggies. Ugh. And Cuckoldless Cage in this role is like, I'm sorry, son. I don't know what you're into. I can't keep up with you kids. Now, the real Nick Cage is not a cuck. He's a machine of the gods, basically. But in this role, he plays an MIT math nerd, right? And so he basically cracks the code, the great Kabbalah code. Remember the Bible code from that nonsense of sapping off of the idiot evangelicals, the Bible code back in the 90s. That's basically what's going on here, is idiot Bible code crap. But maybe a little more interesting than idiot Bible code crap. And so he starts realizing that the Kabbalah code numerology points to disasters in the world. And yes, when we see Nick looking through all these numbers, autistically, Nostradamustically going through these predictive numbers, we do see 666 pops up, interestingly. And he starts noticing that disasters are part of a Kabbalah code. Surprise, surprise. Actually, there are some weird numerological elements to big events, aren't there? 7/11, 9/11, etc., etc. We've covered that in talks in the past. So I would say there's something to that. Everybody's seen Christine Lagarde talk about numerology. If you remember that famous clip of Mrs. Lagarde from the IMF talking about how, we love numerology at the IMF. It's all manipulation of numbers and hoodoo, and we've pulled one over on you. And so Nick represents the intrepid researcher who figures it out, the great MIT physicist. And by the way, it's funny because he's like this atheist guy. We know there's no such thing as codes. Codes don't tell. There's no such thing as codes. There are no codes. But there are, he figures out, right? And all of his skeptic MIT dork buddies, soy boy buddies are like, there's no codes, Nick. So, since this is 2009, 9/11 does come up in the coding. Other terror so-called events come up. But he still can't believe it, and he's telling his class that there's no free will and determinism is all there is, and we're all just programmed machines. By the way, if determinism is true, then your thoughts are all illusory, and your mental process, the logical flow of your thoughts, is also illusory. The meaning is not meaningful at all. It only appears to be meaningful. It actually isn't meaningful at all because it's just determined thoughts, just determined chemical processes which have they don't match up to actual events in the external world. So the absurdity of determinism here. And you'll notice this in a lot of movies that they don't have a problem nowadays turning everybody who kind of is getting tired of the new atheists and all that crap that was popular 10 years ago. That's kind of come and gone. It's not as popular as it was. And so they're always happy, though, to say, maybe materialism isn't true. Maybe rank reductionism isn't true. Let's look over here at all this new age gobbledygook. Look at all this occult, esoteric jibber jabber, which is all confusing and contradictory. But we're more than happy to have you thinking that you're a wizard and LARPing and being a weirdo creeper like Crowley. Just don't get into the Bible or any of that stuff. Go ahead and be a Crowley creeper. The creep, right? The creep. The creep. The creep. The creep. So back here to my Bill Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Catheism, Nihilist Cage, Nick DeCagey Tyson, because he plays the new atheist in this. That's my new names for Nick in this one. Free jokes here, free jokes. You guys not enjoying this? What's up? Come on. Nobody wants to talk Nick Cage. I got one. There we go. The knowing, I don't think is it's not a PKD. It's the movie Next, the Nick Cage movie Next. That is a PKD. So thank you for that question there, Aiden. Good question. I thought the same thing too because I had not thought about the knowing in a long time. But it's actually the movie Next that is, which is not bad. I didn't think Next was terrible. Now we got to talk about the real meaty, weird part of this, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, which is the BP oil disaster ahead of time. Yes, how was the BP? And you can Google this. I'm not going to play anybody's videos because it won't work and I'll get struck or something. But here is somebody's video on, they have the clip from the movie, and this is a scene in the film where, and this is prior to the BP oil disaster, you'll notice here in the Gulf of Mexico, there's a giant oil disaster. And this is what Cage the Great is watching on TV as he's starting to figure out the great Kabbalah code of reality. Let's see, when was the BP oil spill in the Gulf? And at the Deepwater Horizon oil, this was in 11 people were killed in this, supposedly. Okay. April 2010, and so basically a year after the knowing, right? So this is one of the strongest examples of predictive programming. The fact that in the film, you specifically have the oil disaster a year ahead of time. It's even on the news, and then this guy, whoever put this video together, plays the CNN newscasts of the actual event, the so-called actual event, whatever's real in this. That was the Nick one earlier in the movie. Here's the real CNN, right? This is Gulf of Mexico. It's like almost the same. So, clear example of predictive programming. And everybody knows that there are many examples of this, right? We've covered that for years at Jay's Analysis. Predictive programming, no doubt about it, baby. What will the skeptics say to this? Thank you for the super chats rolling in. We got a load of super chats rolling in.
Oi, all right, you super chats. Oi, have I got a license for them super chats? Oi, oi. It's Reader Super Chats in the Bobby voice. Wade and Buck, wait, it's the thinking of next. So many Cage flicks. That's right, mate. Nick Cage has been in every film ever made. And he will always be in every film ever made. Evan Schultz, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Same to you. Gully Gobbles and me Mobby Wobbles. Marl Cox, Merry Christmas. I don't imagine Mr. Marks there likes sending $20, sending £20 my way. But that's all right. We'll give him we'll send him a shave. Get him a nice shave there. Get Mr. Carl Marks a clean face there for his golly wobbles. Benjamin Collins, £5 there. Hi, Jay. Unrelated question. Where is the complete Philip Schaff Church Fathers? As I told him, every time we does a stream on movies, in come the theology questions. Every time we does a stream on a theology, in come the movie flick questions. I would imagine the Philip Schaff Church Fathers set is available anywhere online. I mean, it was 15 years ago when I bought mine. I got mine for like $300 from CBD, Christian Book Distributors. I don't even know if that still exists, CBD. Christian Book Distributors, maybe. But, you know, when it first came out, it cost like, I mean, the whoever prints it, Holman or whoever, when it first came out, when I was at Bible college, it was $1,000. And then they dropped it down to $300. Like, damn, dog. So I bought it back when it was $300. Now, the Schaff set is good. I mean, it's what we have, right? So it's Anglicans. There are some difficulties there. However, the Anglicans do have some good critiques of some of the faulty papal usages in that series. But one of the downsides of the Anglican set, the Schaff set, is that it lacks a lot. I mean, there's a lot of the writings of the Church Fathers, a shit ton. So the Catholic University of America has another set
but they're all like $60 a piece, and there's like, I don't know, 100 volumes. So, unless you want to pay like $6,000 or something for that. I bought individual volumes of ones that are not in the Shaft set. So, for example, a new book, new Maximus the Confessor just came out. Ad Thalassium from Catholic University CUA Press. And by the way, I would not recommend you're patronizing, giving your money to CUA. But you'll notice this is the, here it is. This is the CUA set, which will contain volumes not in the Shaft set. This one. So, if you're looking for certain volumes that aren't, like, there's no Maximus the Confessor in the Shaft set, which is kind of dumb, but, that's what it is. So, anyway. So, that's answers to that question. Hopefully. But thank you for that there, Benjamin Collins. I hope that helps you. I don't know. Let's see if CBD still exists. I don't even know if it still exists. Christian Book Distributors. Okay, it looks like it still exists. Christianbook.com, that's it. Let's see if they have Church Fathers. Do they still have that set? I wonder if that set's out of print. Has the Shaft set gone out of print? I don't see it there. No, wait, here it is. Oh, that's an ebook. Glad I got mine, dog. I don't know, dude. Good question. I mean, should have got your Church Fathers set 15 years ago. But yeah. Anyway. Interested on your views on Danny Dyer? I don't have any views on Danny Dyer. I know who he is, but... And no, to my knowledge, we're not related. Doesn't he talk about open borders a lot and stuff on UK media? Oi! All right, that's enough of that. So the knowing is primarily interesting for this numerological aspect of the disasters, which would suggest knowledge beforehand, right? At least in some cases. Not by Nick Cage. I'm not saying Nick Cage is behind. Somebody said that one time, like, the haters that they're like, he thinks Hollywood is behind all terror. What? I never said anything like that. It's completely stupid. I don't believe that, dog. But anyway, yeah, people will make up crazy stuff. So we talked about Bible code, numerology, Kabbalah. Nick Cage says, numbers don't mean anything. Well, if they don't mean anything, this is what the new atheists all say, then how are you conveying meaning to me through numbers? How do they translate into building bridges if they don't mean anything? This is the idiocy of the naturalistic materialists. So we talked about the Gulf oil spill, the Gulf oil rig a year beforehand, alien rapture, this dumb rapture doctrine. By the way, if you just read what Paul says in Thessalonians, the so-called rapture is just the end of time. It's nothing about, there's nothing to do with some rapture before some tribulation. Let's see what else. The alien elite here appear to operate like the Men in Black, which is interesting. I don't really have any opinion on the Men in Black. I've seen some interesting videos online that claim to be so-called Men in Black, but that could be just people making joke videos of Men in Black. it could be a clip from a movie. So I don't know what the origin of these videos is. Certainly possible that there are Men in Black dudes that just show up under so-called alien events, and that would just be handlers probably that show up to control the narrative, to make sure the people involved in these events, don't say something wrong and reveal that it was probably the government, kidnapping people or whatever, which is what probably is going on in a lot of the so-called alien abductions and mind control, ritual abuse type stuff, unless it's just completely fake and made up, right? So I don't really have an opinion on the Men in Black, but the aliens in the movie seem to act like Men in Black or reinforce the MIB narrative. That's my take on it. Nicholas, here's a note I don't get. Nicholas Creeper wants to stop all the bad events. I don't know why I call him Nicholas Creeper. I don't think it. Does he hit on somebody? I don't think he does. I don't get it. But that was my note at the time. The Nicolas Cage Study Bible. That's an idea I had, where basically Nick Cage just tells you the meaning of all the numerology in the Bible. Kind of a Nick Cage Study Bible. There's a bombing in a subway. Hello, that's pretty similar to 7/7. So this is reminiscent of 7/7. Not a Subway restaurant, the 7/7 Subway. Let's see. Hearing voices. This is another thing that comes up in all the stupid Venom. If you saw Venom, the idea was if a demon is speaking to you, it's because you are a more evolved special person. And this is a narrative that they put into a bogus storyline that they put into all the abduction tales, because the abductees all think that they're special people and they're chosen for this role, and this is all part of the cult garbage behind aliens, right? It's always connected to alien cult stuff, and that actually comes up in X-Files. If you remember the Veronica Cartwright character who plays Agent Spender's mom, right? And she was impregnated by the aliens like Scully was. To give birth to a hybrid or whatever, or Veronica Cartwright's a hybrid. I can't remember, but she says this too. She says, I was abducted because I was special and they chose me to be a breeder. That just sounds exactly like cults and ritual sex abuse, doesn't it? Well, of course it does, right? So the alien smokescreen can function for a lot of reasons, one of which is not just to cover up Black Operation Tech, and drug running, as people have written about Area 51, Roswell. It can also cover up for ritual abuse. If you're abused and your mind was bombed on drugs and you were told that it was just a bunch of aliens, nobody's going to believe you. So I think that this alien nonsense provides a very useful cover for all kinds of bogus things. So probably not in every case are people lying about abductions. In some cases they're just made up. I think Betty and Barney Hill, that sounds like George Adamski. I think those were all directly copied from sci-fi novels at the time. So anyway, but no, I don't have any specific opinion on Men in Black, other than it's probably just fixers or handlers that show up, if it's real. Let's see. So if you're a kid who sees visions and hears voices from aliens, you're special and more evolved. This is a dumb narrative we see in a lot of movies. I wrote down Eric von Donkadonk. I don't know if there was a butt in this movie or something that people are laughing in the background. If you've seen Chariots of the Gods, Fashionable Backsides of the Gods by Eric von Donkadonk. So, yeah, I know that was dumb. A lot of my notes I don't remember why I wrote that. I do like the idea of the Nicolas Cage study bubble, though. That'd be a great one to have. So, hearing voices is good. It's not demonic. This was the same idea in, or schizophrenia or whatever. Same idea in Venom. Something burning in here? Okay. Ozone layer is depleting, so they brought back the ozone nonsense that trustworthy NASA told us about back in the 80s and 90s, that the ozone was being depleted from gases and fluorocarbons. And let's see, Illuminati stealing kids. Surprise, surprise. Where have we ever heard that before? The Illuminati stealing kids? I don't know. Sounds far-fetched. We know that's not real. That's just a conspiracy. That also reminds me of another movie about the Illuminati stealing kids that I have meant to do forever and ever and ever. If you've seen this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yes, and surprise, surprise. What do you know? Look what's in that movie. This doesn't have anything to do with Nick Cage. It just made me think of this. Have you seen City of Lost Children? Why, look what we see in City of Lost Children. Well, I guess that's just in there accidental, right? Has nothing to do with anything. Doesn't mean anything. Pointless. Doesn't mean anything. And that was, by the way, Badalamenti, who does the Twin Peaks music. Jean-Pierre Jeunet, exactly. Didn't he do the Alien Resurrection, right, with Ripley, with her being cloned into a super feminist goddess? Very bizarre film. But, yes, City of Lost Children is a highly esoteric film. And the children are being stolen by mad scientists who mind control them. Wonder what that means. I wonder if it has any significance. I can't imagine what this would be about. Like, I just have no idea where this comes from. It's all just made up. It's nothing like that ever actually goes on. It's all made up. Okay, and then this was interesting too, proving that the knowing was totally Gnostic Kabbalah, is the final scene, the kids who are raptured. By the way, sorry, we can take your children to an entirely different planet, but not Nick Cage. Screw those kids, dude. Take Nick Cage to the alien planet. Them kids were annoying anyway. Vegan kids, get out of here, vegan kids. Go burn up, dude. If anybody's getting saved and raptured, it's Nick Cage, okay? Because you can't cage the cage. Yes, he did Delicatessen, correct. And I actually kind of like Alien Resurrection. I don't know why. I mean, what I like about it is the colors that he uses. He's really good with color, Jeunet. And I like his... the baby alien hybrid thing, when he gets sucked out the hole, that part makes the whole movie worth it. And he's like, and he's looking at Sigourney Weaver, who's his mom, and he's like, "Mommy, why are you aborting me into space?" It's a great gooey monster. It's gooey in the it's not CGI. It's goo in the tradition of John Carpenter goo. Just gooey gunk, basically. So, yes, vegan kids get burnt up in the conflagration. Nick Cage should have been raptured. If you can rapture a bunch of kids, why can't you rapture freaking Nick Cage, dude? That made me mad. And then they end up on some dumb planet, and it's the tree of life. Oh, surprise, surprise. Yeah, exactly. So, Gnostic, Kabbalistic film, the knowing, the gnosis. Exactly. All right. We are trucking along. 230 nerds. Everybody's glad to be back. Glad I'm back. You all are great. I love you guys so much. That wasn't Nick Cage, by the way. I love you all so much. I love you all very much. I typed in Wicked Man, not Wicked Man. Wicker Man. Wicker Man. So Wicker Man, of course, is human sacrifice. Once again, our friend Nick is back in an esoteric film. Heavily esoteric. Now, wait a minute, though. Human sacrifice doesn't exist, even though there are plenty of articles everywhere that talk about the reality of human sacrifice. Tribes today still practicing it. Countries in Africa still practicing it. Bokassa, right? At the end of Dave McGowan's book, famous cannibal, human sacrifice, right? Declared himself emperor of Africa. Jean Baudel Bokassa. Look up the Bokassa videos on YouTube. They're pretty funny. They're wild. Watch my video on cannibalism that I did. Katy Perry cannibalism video. I thought that would go viral. But no, YouTube won't let me go viral. All right. Moral Karks again. Jay, I've chosen you to receive my divine flesh probe. I would say Moral Karks would count as he's got the appearance of like a Cthulhu, like that beard looks very Cthulhonic. Karl Marx's beard is Cthulhu. That's a new conspiracy theory. Let's see if somebody has put together a Karl Marx Cthulhu image. Looks like they have. Now that the internet exists, nothing is original. Is there a Karl Marx Cthulhu? Karl Thulu. Now, see, his beard should be the, Cthulhu tentacles or whatever. But nobody's done that yet. So there's your ideas. You all just got an idea from me. Cthulhu Marx. Because his beard looks like Cthulhonic tentacles. Cthulhonic tentacles. Trying to find a good Cthulhu picture. Dude, he looks just like Karl Marx. Karl Marx is Cthulhu, dude. New conspiracy theory right there. I'm trying to find, I guess this is a decent picture. Yeah, he looks kind of like Karl Marx there. Could do that one. It works. That'll work. Cthulhu Marx. Cthulhu Marx. Cthulhu. Cthulhu Marx. I don't know, dude. I think it's the same beard, dude. It's the same guy. Compare those beards. Hidden hand, and Karl Marx has got his hand in his jacket, part of the hidden hand. I think so. What do you guys think? Same dude? Spitting image? All right. What are we on? We're on Wicker Man. Wicker Man. Wicker. Wick. That has to do with witchcraft. A wick. Witchcraft is wick. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. What, Gaelic or something, or Old English or something has to do with the Celtic? A wick has to do with witchcraft. Didn't you know that? Let's see. So Cage is going to go on an unwanted adventure here. And yes, I've seen the original, but we are not doing the original. We are doing the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man, which is more fun anyway. And let's see. Yeah. Let's go esoteric cover again. Mr. Cage. Whoops. Whoopsie. Move that. There we go. Yeah. Wicker Man. Tell me your name. Wicker Man. What's your game? Wicker Man. Tell me the truth. Wicker Man. Nick Cage Rage. Not the bees. Not the bees. Not the bees. The bees. I watched Wicker Man a while back, so I don't really remember how he yells about the bees. Where's my bees go? I just put it on here. Damn it. Not the bees. I have to clear some stuff out here. Hold on a second. Not the bees. There's a guy in the background, too, wearing a bee costume. Looks like that bee from the Blind Melon video. See him? Look. That's the bee from Blind Melon, dude. Not the bee from Blind Melon. No. All I can say is that my life is pretty cage. I like watching the puddles gather pure great alcohol. All I can do is read a book to stay awake during a Nick Cage movie. It rips my heart apart and it's a great escape. It's not sane. I need someone. I hate that song. Oh man, I can't stand that freaking song. But that's not bad for more my Blind Melon improv. Remember the entire gold. It was gold, dude, especially Boomers on the Storm. The whole stream got taken down. Not taken down. I had to take it down because the awful karaoke versions of songs are copyrighted. Can you believe that? They're terrible. And I can't sing my damn karaoke because they're all copyrighted. And that was fun. We had 1,000 people right away. Just boom. Karaoke stream. Broke. No singing. Woke. Karaoke. And anyway, so it got like 6 copyright dings, so I had to take it down before I got something worse. So you can't sing karaoke. That's crazy. Anyway, horror freak news. So this is based on David Pinner's 1967 novel Ritual about neo-pagans. Nicolas Cage dedicated this movie to his friend Johnny Ramone, who had died in 2004. I'm not laughing at death. It's just a bizarre thing to dedicate the movie to. A bizarre dedication. Anyway, what a character! Nicolas Cage is such a character. So he likes Elvis and punk music and comic books. He's basically like if a 17-year-old became a multimillionaire star, like that's what Nick Cage, that's what he would do. It was like buy comic books and dinosaur heads and islands and anyway. So what are we talking about? MGTOW. Yeah, this is a MGTOW film because all of the witch bitches on the island are hideous nightmares. It's not really. I'm just making jokes. Basically, we could call this Hillary Island. I was watching this. So this is Hillary Island, basically. Wicker Man is Hillary Island. So it's interesting that they completely revamped the original story with Christopher Lee and his patriarchy to this feminist nonsense, right? So all this idea that Gaia, nature, New Age, female goddess worship. Well, what about masculinity in nature, right? I mean, the original had a patriarchy, but now we're supposed to think that the matriarchy is the true natural relationship. So managed dialectics, welcome to Hillary Island, total Hillary Island. It's very, internet's getting low again. Hopefully we won't cut out here, but Cage has been duped this entire time, you know. He's been brought to the island as the sacrifice. The Cadriarchy, and Nicolas ends up in a cage. Right? This is the death of the Cadriarchy. There we go. We get some buffering there. It's because I said feminist island, Hillary Island. Yeah. So even the bitch that works in the police department is part of this plot here, right? And Nicholas's poor ex, who's duped him, right? She's in on it. They're all in on it to bring him to Hillary Island. When this came out, I was kind of new to getting really into esoteric films. Right? I remember because it was right when I was starting to think there's a lot of occult Hollywood when this movie came out. And I actually I remember sitting in the theater in 2006 thinking, man, you could maybe write a book about esoteric Hollywood. And I'll be golly gosh darn, what do we know? 2 of these have come out. So just fascinating there. Coming full circle, like nature itself coming full circle. As Plato in the Timaeus presents nature as a giant Ouroboros, a giant snake eating its own tail. But the snake and the egg are in this movie. Did you know that the snake and the egg are in this movie? Yes, they are. And they are on the school door. When Nick goes to the school to meet the school teacher, I don't think I have any screen caps of the snake and the egg, but I think we all know I'm right. Okay, I'm not going to be wrong. But when he goes to meet this bitchy bitch, this witchy bitch, and you see the door to the school has the snake and the egg. Now, what's the snake and the egg? Well, this is an ancient hermetic alchemical image of the universe, right? Principles of life, the snake, the phallus, the egg, right, receives the seed. And the esoteric conception of the universe being, of course, that it is like a giant egg. And this is, again, Plato's Timaeus. So it's not just witchcraft, but actually, go back to Plato's Timaeus to find this idea. Cage versus hags. Cage versus the Cadriarchy versus the matriarchy. Then we find out, what do you know, Salem witch cults. That's who these people are. I liked that element of the film. We make it into North America. It's not a Scottish island. It's New England witch cults, which are real. There are New England witch cults. And I've mentioned this on many shows and streams. If you look at the history of Unitarian Universalism, the Puritans, the families in New England, many of them have actual witchcraft descent. Did you know that? Yes, they did, and that's true. But we're not going to get into that. You'll just have to accept my authority. Fallacy of authority, baby. Trust me, I'm right. When am I wrong, by the way? When am I wrong? I mean, I was wrong back in my 20s, but, dude, after 30s, I stopped being wrong. I'm kidding. Bees and beehives, guess what? That's witch imagery. Did you know that? The symbolism of the bee, the queen bee. Okay, that's pretty obvious, though, right? But actually, the bee and bee symbolism is in Masonry. Hey, wait a minute. I thought Masonry was democratic. I thought we were democratic in Masonry, and it's revolutionary, and we're all equal. Oh no, but wait, you gotta obey this elaborate hierarchy. Oops, sorry, we duped you, dummies. You're not in an egalitarian cult. You're in a hierarchical cult, which is a mocking of the church, the Freemasonic cult. It's funny to me, too. I still get people who, they like, Dyer talks about Masonic conspiracies. What a bunch of dummies. Does this not look like it has some conspiratorial relevance? Of course it does. Because guess what? Where did the Lodge of England start? England, right? Trick question. And who is the patroness of World Freemasonry? Well, it's the Queen. Surprise, surprise. There's your Queen Bee there. It ain't Ellen Barkin or whoever who is the witch bitch in this? The head hag? I can't remember. Who's the head hag? Ellen Burstyn, excuse me, is the head hag here. Right, she's got a crew of hags underneath her. But yes, so of course the beehive is a Masonic imagery. Duh. And you'll notice there the day and night imagery, holiness to the Lord, has nothing to do with the Bible. That's holiness to frickin' Lucifer, what they mean, to their scam god. But yes, so they make bee honey and beeswax there, right? But I wanted to point out that that's in, because that's a hierarchy, right? And you are the dumb drones. It's a pyramid. The beehive is just another version of pyramid, dude. And you're the dumb drone. Do what the queen says. So, of course, beehives are great symbolic imagery for a matriarchy. And surprise, surprise, I wonder why the Freemasonry that's centered in London uses queen bee imagery. Duh. Let's see what else we got going here. So, by the way, that also comes up in other cults. Other cults will use the beehive imagery. Side note. But, so let's see. So Nick, he's going after the queen bee. This is an Illuminati bloodline family. I think we can say that here, right? She is one of the old Puritan New England witch families. We can here use the Illuminati appellation. It is appropriate. They are putting him through ritual torture. Did you notice that? That he is obviously, he's the sacrifice. So they're putting him through cat and mouse torture games to prepare him for the sacrifice. I've got something about kidnapping kids, except they're not really kidnapping kids, but that's part of the narrative. So are we supposed to think that there's something pedo cult going on here? I don't know. Maybe. It's the festival of fertility, and they do teach all the children the birds and the bees pretty early, don't they? Yeah, we just tweeted about that with Alfred Kinsey, didn't we? Yeah. Who, by the way, Time magazine promoted in 1954 on the cover, right? Scientific pedo hero, Alfred Kinsey, promoted by Skull and Bones, CIA, Time magazine, just like the drug revolution was. Now, May Day is spoken of, especially because May Day is not just the day of the Illuminati, right? May 1st, 1776. It's also May Day, the ancient pagan day. And that's interesting because the traditional Illuminati is not occultic. Well, not really. It's Enlightenment, naturalism, and deism, and natural rights philosophy. That's what the historic Illuminati are. And so they preferred nature symbolism because of natural law. So the Enlightenment philosophers, right, who are the Illuminists, they're the purveyors of natural law, of both communism and capitalism. That's part of their dialectic, which almost the entire world falls into, stupidly. They won't question it. I've talked about it since I learned this and when I was 21, but the rest of the world can't figure this out. I don't know why, because people keep telling you that capitalism is of Jesus and communism's of the devil. I'm sorry, but they're not. They're both atheistic systems that come out of the Enlightenment. And the Enlightenment was satanic. And it's not hard to figure that out. And it's no surprise that the Enlightenment modern world has gone through its phase of fedora fag theism, and now it's reverting into its just total degeneracy gobbledygook. Yes. I think Nick Cage and me in 2024. We can't beat Trump. So we can't run in 2020. We got to run in 2024. It's me and Nick Cage versus Oprah and a trans robot in 2024. That's the 2024 election cycle. Will be Jay Dyer, Nick Cage VP. No, Nick's president. I got to submit to the great one. Me VP and Oprah and a trans bot in 2024. So let's cross our fingers and hope that comes about. We are taking super chats. Thank you guys. Have been very generous. I appreciate that. And we've been talking about witchcraft and Wicca. Wicca face, springing eternal right here, dog. There's a lot of discussion of the phallus and emasculation. That's what this movie is about, is the attempt to, that the Illuminists are going to exalt the feminine, exalt the goddess, and emasculate the masculine. That's what this movie is about. And poor Nick feels the brunt of the Hillary cult. Men are represented by the phallic symbol when he goes to the school, right? The school with the snake and the egg on the door I'm telling you about. And they all laugh at him. So even these little girls are laughing at Nick, emasculating him. And I relish the scene where he punches the fat hag, right? That is one of the best scenes, right? That's hilarious. He just punches the fat hag. And he does like a Van Damme style roundhouse kick to Lily Sobieski. That's pretty awesome too. He boots her into a wall of pictures and they all fall off. Hilarious. Is it a MGTOW film? Is this a MGTOW film? Or is it more so like a feminist, I want to rip my shirt off. I'm getting so angry I'm going to rip it off. Is it a tribute? Is it a warning? What do you guys think? The rise of paganism, but not patriarchy paganism. The rise of matriarchy paganism. It'll just be a bunch of witches and their emasculated soy boys. Because remember, there are some men on this island, but they're emasculated little servile servant soy boys on this island. That's all there is. Nick Cage shows up and he's ready to put shit straight. And you know what? It takes a whole damn island of these hags to take down Cage. So I'm going to give Nick that. And guess what? He ends up in a cage. Nicolas caged. See? I'm joking, by the way. I don't think I'm not reading into that. Let's see. William Blake comes up. William Blake was a antinomian. Snake and the egg on the wall at the school. Plato's Timaeus. I talked about that. Pursuer of lofty and practical ideals. Okay. So when the head witch bitches out Nick, she makes fun of all men, and she's like, men, men pursue lofty, irrational ideals. Women are practical. We're more in tune with nature. And by the way, we're going to burn you up in a giant Wicker Man. And by the way, Wicker Man, that stupid festival where all the retards go and put on by corporate zillionaires, and they go and burn their minds out on drugs, on the system's drugs. Wicker Man, right? Burning Man. Good Burning Man. Hey, man, Burning Man. It's like free expression. Celebrate yourself. Susan Sarandon and the Fortune 100 are going to be there, man. Celebrating freedom, man. The Burning Man. Oh, man. I can't. The world has lost its mind. All these people are insane.
Burning Man, man. I'm crying because I'm so weak, man. Oh, Burning Man.
Somebody tried to get me to go to Burning Man once, and I was like, are you kidding? You think I want to go to that? I'll go to that and troll everybody. And that they'd end up burning me at the top of that thing like Nick. I would be up there getting burnt with bees all over my face. No. Anyway. So let's see. What else did I have here? She's got William Blake quotes on the wall. The girl is... Okay, so this is... Yeah, so basically pantheism, when people die, they go back into being the all of all nature. Ooh, yeah. Pantheism. We never heard that before. That's only been around for the entire period of man's existence back to ancient animism. So deep, right? But everybody who does drugs, like when they're 18, 19, 20, or even today, people, these idiot YouTubers who have their first drug experiences, and they have this ridiculously arrogant conception that they're enlightened after their drug trips. And then when they spout what they learned on their drug trips, it's like, we're all one, man. Oh, that's so deep. Oh, my mind is blown. You said the exact same thing that shaman from 6,000 years ago said. Good job, bro. You're a retard. Now, human sacrifice. Interesting. This is a human sacrifice cult movie. It is. Both of them are. The old one is a good movie, by the way. And the idea here being is we have to give back to nature, our firstborn or whatever, in order to ensure our successful crops. Now, we all think that human sacrifice that doesn't exist anymore. That's crazy. There's no human sacrifices anymore. And yet, what do we see in the news but the most degenerate occult crap all the time? And the elite who are into the most degenerate occult satanic stuff, you bet they practice human sacrifice. Are you kidding? And even if they don't believe that it's like a real sacrifice, they practice human sacrifice through war. The elite even write about war as mass human sacrifice. So don't give me this skeptical bull crap that doesn't exist. You are ignorant. So human sacrifice goes all the way back to ancient Egypt, ancient India. They practice human sacrifice. Don't give me the crap that they didn't really do it. It's all made up by Christians. No, they practice human sacrifice now. There are people in the world that do it now. It's not made up. So, it's not unreasonable to believe that they did in the ancient world. And the Bible says they did. In numerous places, the scriptures talk about human sacrifice, right? We read Amos. We read Hosea. Hosea talks about human sacrifice. Isaiah, Jeremiah talks about it. The books of the Kings talk about it, right? We covered that in the theological talks from the Old Testament. We got a bunch more we're going to do. We're going to get back to Zechariah, by the way. I'll be back home soon, and then I can do my normal streams. And I think we're just going to have to do streams every day because we don't know how long streaming is going to be around. So might as well make use of it while we have it. Let's see. So the day of death and rebirth, this is nature worship. It brings us back to the flawed logic of human sacrifice, offering humans back to the spirits of nature. Let's see. Cage versus Island of Hags, talked about that. They all wear their satanic animal masks to invoke the spirits of nature. We see people doing this all the time now. People dress up in these stupid animal masks. All the millennial Zs do it, and this is part of their being edgy and funny and ironic, and their cosplay weird stuff that they're into. I see this creepy crap everywhere, dude. Like all over corporate stuff, ads. You see ads, people wearing all this garbage, looking all freaking creeper. And it every time I see it, it reminds me of, this is pulling up like paper mache. We have paper mache animals. I'm talking about like this kind of crap. You know what I mean? Like let me show you how much of a in tune with nature pagan I am, because I wear my animal masks, right? And the antlers, the Rothschilds wearing their antler masks and this kind of shit. This is just weird. And why do you want to dress up like an animal and have sex anyway? It's just unnatural, dude. Gross. You've been mind controlled, dog. Go to church. Go to the Orthodox Church. Don't go to the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, dude, look at this crazy stuff. What is wrong with people? Why would you wear this mask? Look at this mask. This is straight up. I'm not saying masks are inherently evil, by the way. Come on, we're not stupid here. But, I mean, come on, this stuff is, like, weird, dude. Look at this guy.
Let me put my deer mask on and rub my micro peen on you, baby. Let me put my wolf mask on and pretend to be a wolf. Let's have a wolf hump. Let's be furries.
Just gross, dude. Get out of here. What's wrong with you people? You need to be rebuked. What is this? Look at this crap. It's a retarded goat. Look at this retarded goat here. Ooh, you know what I want to do? Hump a retarded goat. Oh, that sounds so edgy and hot. People are just insane, dude. Venetian masks. Venetian animal masks. Oh, these are really... Dang, dude. Goat heads. Yeah. Well, let's all be demonic. Oh, it's going to be so great when we all eat human flesh and practice human sacrifice. It's so great. So edgelord, dude. Edgy. We all need to stand against this degeneracy like Nick Cage the Great. Stand like Cage. Even be willing to be burnt in the Wicker Man cage. Cage will free you from your cage. Be like Nick Cage. 3 Moons necklace. She's got her witchcraft inverted. The witches have a kind of a trinity, I think. They have like a weird 3 moon trinity of some kind, if I recall. It's been a long time since I read on the witchcraft. Obviously, I'm not into witchcraft, but some years ago I did read 3 or 4 books on witchcraft just to learn about it. Nick puts on his bear suit. That's kind of weird. I don't know why he decides that going undercover in a bear suit would be a good idea, but he does. They said, and this is interesting from the perspective of esotericism, I don't know. You hear this thing quoted like Alex Jones is always saying, folks, I got to tell you ahead of time what they're going to do. Where is this law of the Illuminati that they have to tell you ahead of time? I don't see any metaphysical law that you have to tell somebody ahead of time what you're going to do. I think it's done to condition people. But there's not some, where is the rule of the Illuminati book, chapter 666 that says that you have to tell people ahead of time what you're going to do? What are you talking about? But that comes up in the movie, though, not because they say they have to tell them. It's just that they say it like, well, it was all your own free will, right? Like you came to the island, you thought you were going to be lofty, idealistic patriarch and save the girl. So it was your free will fault that we humans sacrificed you. Now, that's the kind of convoluted reasoning that I could see pagans and neo-pagans and Illuminists and Luciferians and Gnostics engaging in, because it's total nonsense. I could see that happening, yeah. But that's my analysis of Wicker Man. It's funny. And then at the end, James Franco makes his appearance, who, by the way, is very interested in Crowley. I think he's reenacted Crowley rituals. You can find those articles online. Franco shows up being the next sacrifice of Lily Sobieski, which is interesting. So, what do you make of that, my friends? What do you make of that? So next we move to Drive Angry. And I just threw Drive Angry in there because Nicolas Cage seems to like movies where he's either sacrificed to the devil or sold out to the devil and trying to get free from a devil curse. This is something that Nick Cage is constantly... Maybe Nick is the everyman. He represents all of us trying to free ourselves from the dominion of... I'm just joking, by the way. And then Amber Heard. Isn't this Amber Heard? And wasn't she Johnny Depp's girl? And I saw an article. I don't read celebrity gossip, but there was a dumb article that said that Amber Heard and Johnny Depp got into a fight over dog poop in the condo bed or whatever. And Johnny Depp said that the dog poop was so big that it had to be hers and not the dog. I'm not making that up. That's a real news story. I don't know. But anyway. So, of course, Johnny Depp does not look too great these days. Pray for him. Yes, a lot of these people are duped by the occult. Pray for these people. They're not to be destroyed. We should always pray for the conversion of people. And people who are in the clutches of evil are sometimes the closest to the kingdom of God, Jesus says, right? To the whores and the tax collectors, he says, you are closer to the kingdom of God than the Pharisees, the self-righteous scribes and Pharisees, who think that they are not sinners. So we got some neat notes here on Drive Angry. I'm going to take a brief break. We're not going anywhere. Just going to I'm going to go tinkle. I'm going to go to the boys' cage and tinkle. And I will be right back. I promise you that. I'm not going anywhere. Let me put a little, there's no cage music. We could do, in Wild at Heart, he sings Elvis, which he does a pretty good job, by the way. But that would, of course, give the copyright strike. So we can't play that, but I will play more of Amid the Ruins, the guys at Amid the Ruins who make the cool songs, the cool retro wave, synth wave tunes. So watch out. Every time I put this on, it gets loud, and I can't make it. I can do it as quick as I can, but as soon as I hop on there, it's going to be really loud. Watch out. Turn down your volumes. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now I can turn it down as quick as possible. All right. I'll be right back. Yes, I went to Pass Water. I went to Tinkle. All you gross people. You gross toilet-minded people. So once again, Nick is selling his soul to the devil. He's caught in the clutches of the devil. Outside of Colorado. Colorado always comes up in movies in weird ways because Colorado is a home away from home for the CIA. Do you know that? I've talked about that many times. That's in my book, by the way, Esoteric Hollywood 1. But CIA moved a lot of its stuff to Colorado a long time ago, and that was in the Washington Post. So if you're wondering what's the deal with all the weird Denver airport and all that stuff, here's the Washington Post from 2004 telling you what the heck is up. There you go. And that's the Washington Post. CIA plans to shift work to Denver. CIA plans to relocate headquarters of its domestic division. Blah, 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 blah. Denver. So there you go. Now, I'm not saying that's why that this in this movie. I'm just saying that they're in Laughter, Colorado. It's curious. Full moon virgin sacrifice of the daughter. Human sacrifice again. Cain and Abel references. Satan's right hand man. The man in black here, once again, shows up. Men in Black, Nick Cage movies with Men in Black. There's a human sacrifice cult that is Manson-esque. This cult, and this movie actually has a lot of parallels to Mandy. There were some interesting parallels to Mandy is a much better film than Drive Angry. Drive Angry is tongue-in-cheek, not too serious. But again, if you're interested in Mandy, which of course would be in the Esoteric Nick Cage stream, go watch my Mandy video. I did my whole own video on Mandy. So that's why it's not in this stream. Let's see. Just like Mandy and just like Drive Angry, Ghost Rider has the sold out, owned by Satan theme here. Jonah King is the cult leader. He's kind of like a cross between Manson and Jim Jones, basically. He's like a hippie Jim Jones. But they're into outright Satanism. They're into outright human sacrifice in this cult. The Bull Balls Bar. I don't know why I put a note. I just thought that was funny. Bull by the Balls Bar. Does the bull have an... Well, I guess the goat head, the bull head, a cherub. Cherubs have, right, 4 heads. And the bull is one of the heads of the cherub, and Satan is a cherub. So it could have a significance. I don't know. Not much. I could be reading too much into that. But John Milton, right? Milton comes up. That's Nick Cage's name is John Milton. Paradise Lost, Milton. And, of course, Milton was anti-Trinitarian, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Yes, he was a complete heretic, as was Isaac Newton, and also an anti-Trinitarian heretic. And that's because they all were laboring under the error of absolute divine simplicity. Absolute divine Cage complexity. Let's see what other notes do I have. Satanic magic is spoken of as being used by the cult and the real demons. It's an end times cult. Go and watch my video with John Adams on end times cults and and all that. So once again, Nick Cage factors into the end times, just like The Knowing, just like the dumb Rapture movie. Nick Cage will play a vital role in the end of the world. I don't know how, but it's also a sex cult. So here we have this human sacrifice sex cult. Well, surprise, surprise. That's all real. It's not just a movie. Jonah's inverted pentagram necklace, all very out in the open. Let's see. Vengeance against a cult Just like Mandy, Nick Cage is on a vengeance spree against the cult, just like Mandy. Also a human sacrifice cult. The cops are in on it. Surprise, surprise. Cops in on this. One of whom is a member of the cult. That's real. Sometimes cops are involved in this stuff. We see a giant full moon. The child is a moon child. Right? Direct from Crowley again. This is spoken of as the devil's due. And I thought it was interesting that hell is described of as a large prison. Jesus says, you will not leave there until you've paid the last penny to the prisoners. Why? Because one chooses one's own hell. One puts oneself into one's own hell. So, tongue-in-cheek, a fun, goofy movie. I'm not necessarily recommending this movie for everybody because there are aspects of this film which are pretty... Hello? Hello? Did we lose our sound for... See, the video is way behind in the back end of things. How long was the sound out? Was it just a few minutes or was it for a long time? It's because I put that stupid song on. How long was it out? How long was audio out? See, this is way behind. What I'm seeing is like minutes ago. 5 seconds? 20 seconds. Okay, good. So we didn't lose all that. I don't have to redo Drive Angry. Yeah, I was just trying to make sure everything was running right because it looked behind. So anyway. I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, so now we're going to talk about 8mm, which is a crazy movie. Yeah, so we all know what this movie's about. I'm not going to say what it's about because I don't want to flag, things. So we all know what this is about. Oh, I was saying there's some non-children safe material in Drive Angry. It's kind of funny what it is. I'm not going to say. It's Nick Cage is being intimate with a lady of the evening who is sort of straddling him while he smokes a giant Rush Limbaugh cigar and takes out about 30 dudes. And he keeps being intimate with her. That it's funny, but probably not for children's eyes. So definitely not for children's eyes. So these are not kids' movies. 8mm, definitely not a kids' movie. Do not watch this unless you are an adult who understands the world. But remember, Snopes told us that this doesn't exist, right? What this movie is about doesn't exist because Snopes said so. They have said for years now there's no such thing as these things. Now, this is an aspect of the real world that you're not supposed to know about or know is real. But there are actually plenty of mainstream articles that say that it is real. And there was that guy who was a murderer who had a submarine, and he murdered some woman on a submarine, supposedly, and he was into this stuff. And then there's the guy from Tesla or the guy from Scorpions, remember? And he said he saw this at parties he was at. Oh, come on. Every degeneracy that's thinkable exists. What idiocy is going on at Snopes to say that this doesn't exist? And really, we're not going to talk a whole lot about it. But now, Joel Schumacher made this, and Schumacher made the number 23. So he makes esoteric films at times, occult films. This does have an occult angle to it, not overtly, but basically the rich guy at the beginning has paid for this to be filmed. And there's a lot of rumors of, people being involved in this kind of stuff, like Hunter S. Thompson, supposedly. I don't know if that's true. That could be slander, but it could be true. I don't know. Supposedly filmed one. I don't know. But Nicolas Cage is a surveillance operative, and he gets obsessed with the case of who the steel magnate paid to have killed in this video that he bought. So part of the dead man's belongings in the safe, we see the guy the bald guy who's involved in this, doing this, he's in the movies, the star who wears his bondage gear. He's got an inverted pentagram. And so he is, in some sense, interested in this kind of occultism, dark occultism. Let's see what other notes I've got here. So he's on this journey. He doesn't even believe this stuff really exists, that it's that dark. The bad guy is named Mr. Christian. So could be trying to smear all the Christians as bad, or pointing out hypocritical so-called Christians. Could go either way. When he goes to the yucky porn store with Joaquin Phoenix showing up, by the way, who was in the Children of God cult, which was a pedo cult, by the way. Joaquin takes him out back to tell him that he knows where he can get really gross porn. And we see on the back of this store a square and compass. And I don't think that's there accidentally. So if you watch the film, really this film isn't that... I mean, the themes that are in the film are gross. There's only one part of the movie that's like, where you have to kind of turn away. Because it doesn't really show much, except for one scene, I think, where Nick Cage is when he's walking around this underground filth boutique, basically, and there's a guy trying to sell him something, and he watches what they're trying to sell him, and it's gross. It's an enema, basically, of something. It doesn't show this. It kind of implies it. It's still gross. But so anyway, that's really the main grossness that I can recall in the film. So I'm not recommending this film for everybody, certainly. But the overall plot, I think, is revelatory in the sense of, yes, there are these kinds of cults out there. This does go on. It's tied into the dark side of the porn industry. So essentially what's going on here is that we hear all the time about esoteric Hollywood, occult Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. It also ties into the porn industry, right? Lost Highway has this theme. That's a big part of the plot of Lost Highway. And it's a big part of the plot of 8mm. And I've wanted to talk about 8mm for a long time. Porn industry celebrity films. This is a big key here. Connect to Hollywood. And then Tony Soprano plays the guy who was involved in the filming. Not real Tony Soprano, but that dude. Which is interesting because that guy then goes into being the mafia role. Anyway, so that's... Yeah, so the elite, what's the basic principle here? The elite are tied into the porn industry, and they pay to have this kind of stuff filmed. Yeah, of course. Duh. And then there's a scene where Nick Cage is troubled by this, and he's arguing with the billionaire's lawyer, and he's like, "Why would you do this?" And the guy goes, "Because we can, because we're that rich. That's why." So yeah, look up the news story of the. It was like Norway, somewhere like that. Finland, Norway, some Nordic country where the submarine technician or a nuclear sub technician guy had one of these movies done, and he killed a reporter or something. I mean, this was a big story like a year ago. I think we covered it on Boiler Room. Yeah, so you can find that Boiler Room. So yeah, what the heck is Snopes talking about? This doesn't exist. Sad Vorian said Vorian. Are you still doing paid GOT sessions? I guess you mean tutoring. Yes, I did tutoring last week with 2 different people last week. So yes, if you want to do tutoring, just send me an email or send me on the contact page at the website. Mention that you want to do tutoring, and we cover philosophy, we cover geopolitics, we cover theology, we cover pedagogy, whatever you want to talk about. Most of the time, people are wanting like specific book recommendation questions and going through specifics. So yeah, we can do that. James Gandolfini, that's what I was trying to think of, the Tony Soprano guy. Yes, we still do tutoring. So be glad to set up tutoring whenever works for you. I'll be back home Monday, and we can see what's popping. We can get it popping. All right. So yeah, 8mm, pretty gross at times. Just the overall themes are gross, but you can make it. There's only one scene that's kind of gross. Turn your head away when he goes to the underground filth lot. Turn your head away there, you'll be good. What's next? Oh my gosh, Ghost Rider was so dumb, dude. I had never seen it, and for this stream especially, for you guys especially, I made myself watch Ghost Rider. And I was actually having fun for the first, hour. I was like, this is funny. It's like Nicolas Cage is Super Dave. He's Evel Knievel. This is funny. And he's got the worst Southern accent ever, just like in Con Air. Put the bunny down. I'm stretching my face out to do the Nick Cage. Put the bunny down. Put the bunny down. And don't you know Nick Cage is kicking himself because he probably could have been any of the Marvel people that he wanted. He could have been Iron Man. He could have been doing what Robert Downey Jr. is doing. Now, wait a minute. There's 2 Ghost Riders? I didn't even know that. Or is there 1? Spirit of Vengeance? What is this? I don't know. I think there's only 1. Is it 2000? Okay, so it's 2007 film. It's got Sam Elliott in there. Sam Elliott's got this deep voice where he talks like this. Sam Elliott's got a deep voice like this. The devil wants his due. I'm trying to do my Sam Elliott. I don't remember any of the lines. The lines are stupid. Oh, Peter Fonda, by the way, plays the devil. So there's your Laurel Canyon tie-in. Hello. Laurel Canyon. Hello. Oh, come on. Don't tell me the poster doesn't want to stick on the screen. There's some really dumb Sam Elliott lines in here. I couldn't think of any. I was going to do some, but that bike. Oh my gosh, that bike is so stupid. I actually liked, when I was a kid, I don't know why, but I liked Ghost Rider. I thought he was a neat character. Because I did like comic books as a kid. Hello, time to grow out of this. If you're an adult, grow out of the comic books, bro. Unless you're Nick Cage, then you're allowed to still like comic books. I guess it was a hit. It cost 110 million and made 230 million. So I guess that's a hit. Yeah, okay. But I did enjoy the bad accent and him doing the stunts. Devil at the Crossroads. Jamie talks about that in her book. Evil Cage Knievel. He's evil Cage Knievel. Contract out for souls. He's basically the devil's hitman. He's under a curse, just like in Drive Angry. Super Cage Osborne. Super Dave. Remember Super Dave? Were you in the 80s, bro? Do you remember Super Dave? He can't do a southern accent. Crazy Train. And he's fighting elemental spirits. That's it. The rest of this was dumb. So I couldn't find anything else going on here in this movie. Are we at the end here already? We're going to have to do a separate Cage stream because, Ghost Rider was stupid. And yeah, we got 100. We're coming up on 2 hours, so that's enough Cage, right? I mean, Peggy Sue got married. That should be its own thing. Face Off, we'll have to hit that next time. I mean, there is like Jungian shade, stuff. There's CIA stuff that comes up in Face Off. There's Jungian archetypes that come up in I keep saying Facebook. Face Off that we need to talk about. Castor and Pollux, right? Astro symbolism. Pollux Troy. Nick Cage playing a evil priest. That's interesting. They trade faces. All-Star. Face Off is a lot like Con Air, right? Really goofy, too. So we'll talk about 3D printing. 3D organ printing. Did you remember that that's in Face Off? In the 90s, 3D printing and 3D organ printing in the 90s. That's pretty crazy, bro. I don't know about you, but that's pretty crazy, bro, in the 90s in Face Off. So we will do another Cage stream. Yes, we need to do Valley Girl. We need to do a Port of Call, Bad Lieutenant, Lord of War. Peggy Sue got married. There's some really funny lines, by the way, in Peggy Sue Got Married from Nick Cage. Valley Girl, yeah, there's not nothing esoteric about Valley Girl, but we could do it. Let's see my notes here for adaptation. Yeah, I mean, we got alternate personalities. Wild at Heart, that's going to be in the David Lynch stream. We did Wicker Man. Oh, Sorcerer's Apprentice. I've got Sorcerer's Apprentice notes. And where are they? There is more going on in Sorcerer's Apprentice than I expected, actually. There's a whole scene where he basically gives this ritual magic spell. That's pretty crazy. Where are my notes? I've got notes on it. I sat through that whole movie, which was not that good. Well, I'll have to find my Sorcerer's Apprentice notes, but I've got them. I did do it. I promise you. Maybe they're in the back here. Let's see. Sorcerers. Is this it? Vampirism. What is this? Hobos. Oh, I watched a movie that was crazy that we got to do. That's what this is. I did do Sorcerer's Apprentice, but another movie, I can't exactly recommend it because it's got some pretty raunchy parts, but somebody recommended it to me, and then somebody recommended it to Jamie. Have you guys seen Under the Silver Lake? Wow, that was crazy. I was like, whoa, dude. I think I'm going to have to watch it again because there's a lot going on here. And, yeah, people are like, the number 2 Google is, what does it mean? So, and I can tell you what it means. I thought it was a, if you watch out for the really dirty part, there's like one really dirty part. One really raunchy part towards the beginning. If you overlook that, this is a pretty wild movie. And Yes, it basically Andrew Garfield is me. Okay, this is Jay's analysis in film. Somebody was saying to me the other day, like, "Hey man, maybe one day your books will get made into a movie." I don't know how that would work, but the closest thing is here. It's already been made. This guy is basically me, and he starts looking at coded messages in pop culture, and he tracks it down to its source. And guess what? It's a Laurel Canyon type thing where pop culture is fake and created. The Andrew Garfield character doesn't act like me. He's kind of more of like a hipster guy. But then again, I get called hipster guy too, so I don't know. But I don't think I'm a hipster. But yeah, do you want to watch? If you can stomach it, if you're of age, yeah, you should watch Under the Silver Lake, and then watch how he decodes pop culture. It's pretty wild, dude. Pretty wild. It's funny too. This movie has a lot of comic relief. It was very well done. It's It's very Lynchian, in the spirit of David Lynch. The picture is huge, but yeah, Andrew Garfield stars as Jay Dyer, decoding pop culture and 80s movies in his 80s t-shirts. Again, it's almost like this was me. By the way, I'm not actually being like, I don't seriously think this was made about me. I'm joking. But this movie is Jay's analysis, dude. I mean, he literally decodes pop culture. And I'm not going to spoil it for you because it has a very bizarre ending. But I think I'm going to have to watch it again in order to fully give my meaning to it. So we've got the hobo demons, just like in David Lynch movies. We've got old Hollywood. We've got Laurel Canyon type stuff. We've got literal references to billionaire, trillionaire, Illuminati elite types. And there's me, as you can see, decoding Hollywood. Hollywood decoded Jay Dyer and Andrew Garfield together. This is called Under the Silver Lake. Sorry, I was trying to get the poster of the movie, but this is what's up next. So I've got pages and pages of notes decoding this movie. Yeah, it's definitely esoteric Hollywood. There's no question about that. If I can, I'm trying to pull the poster up, but sometimes the pictures, they don't stick into OBS like they're supposed to. I don't know why. Half the time they don't work. Now the internet's not going. Come on, dude. What the heck? Anyway, yeah. So watch out for the raunchy bits at the beginning, and watch Under the Silver Lake. Very funny movie. Very wacky sense of humor. Again, yeah. I mean, this is Jay's analysis. And kind of weirded me out. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of weirded me out a little bit because I'm like, I'm not, schizophrenic. I don't think that these movies are made about me. But come on now, this guy, whoever made this movie, this is a lot like Jay's analysis, bro. And it's kind of an indie type movie. I mean, I think it had a theatrical release. It's a high production film. It's not cheap in any sense of the word, but yeah, Under the Silver Lake. This is Hollywood decoded, esoteric Hollywood in movie form. So he kind of he doesn't go nuts because he actually solves things. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but yeah, Under the Silver Lake. Definitely watch that. We're gonna do an in-depth analysis of this movie because it's. I haven't seen an actually esoteric, interesting movie in a long time, and this one definitely fits. It makes the cut. They go to the D.W. Griffith Observatory. I did too, by the way, Decoding Hollywood. So all that's in there. Old Hollywood's in there. Hollywood Cults. And anyway, so check that movie out if you want something interesting. All right. Thank you guys. It was a lot of fun. Any last minute questions before we get up and out of this mug? This has been Cage Stream 2018, closing it out. 30,000 subs. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be hopefully at 50 or 60, right? By the end of the year. That's my goal. Help me out. Share my stuff. Click the notifications. Like, share, thumbs up. Be sure to ring the little bell down there to get the notifications. Otherwise, you don't get notified. Everybody knows that this is how it works. Black girls. My fiance is a white girl. Tanner Terry, why do you like black girls? My fiance is a well-known alternative media white girl. So don't know what you're talking about, bro. And I don't see any more super chats. So thank you guys. Check out Under the Silver Lake if you want to see a good esoteric film. See if you can figure it out. I hope you guys liked Cage Stream. And we'll come back next time with more Cage. God bless. And have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Yeah, thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to the nerds. Yeah, Cinema Verite, Cinema Verite, Cinema Verite, Cinema Verite, Cinema Verite, Cinema Verite, Cinema Verite.